Okay. Just check if we have some extra of these books. Yeah. Okay, let us turn to page 4. Allah, Kumbala, 1 year. Gabor, they'll get the book. They'll get. Okay, these books which I distributed to you, these are for your own copies. You can keep them. And they are offerings from a couple, Brother Elvin and Sister Christy from Singapore. So this is offering from them for all of us. This is your copy, and this is very important. You will not find this book anywhere, not even on Amazon. You will not find it there. So this is published by Tibet House, and this will be very useful. The idea is that that this is based on the root text on which His Holiness the Dalai Lama gave teachings for the last almost 20 years. So it's a combination of all these, and along with some other important texts put together. This is would be very handy, very useful book for you. Okay, so with this in mind, let's turn to page 4. I go for refuge and am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations through the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge and am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations through the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge and am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations through the practice of giving and so forth, may I become Sangye joda zoge jonam la janju bardo dane gyapsu che dage chin so kebe sonam Bela benjira sangye du barajo Sangye joda zoge jonam la janju bardo dane gyapsu che dage chin so kebe sonam ge dola benjira sangye du barajo Sangye joda Chanjo bardo dane gyabso che dage jinso gebe sonamge dola penyer sanye do shom. Independent origination, there is no ceasing nor rising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness and no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme of all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is afraid of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, which through the knowledge of all leads hearers seeking pacification to complete peace, which through the knowledge of paths, causes, souls, helping migrants to achieve the aims of the world, and through the possession of which helps subdue and expand varieties of teachings. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, Sukata, and protector, to you are my prostrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays, to you the Buddha make prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Oh, Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaya swaha. Om hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaya swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam tesham dathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaya swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation causes as well as taught by the great seer. Profound, peacefully, elaboration-free, clear light and non-composite. Such is the nectar-like dharma I have discovered. Finding no one to fathom this teaching, in silence I'll return to the words. Beyond utterance, thought and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unceased, and thus in nature's space, is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas, or 3 times, I bear obeisance. The 4 seals of the Buddha's teachings. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are the nature of suffering. All phenomena are the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcending sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of eons. The Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of suchness that the beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries glow. Instruction on parting from the 4 attachments. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If you thus grasping, you do not have the view. Okay. What we discussed this morning is all about the explanation of the compilation of the verses, the passages on emptiness, and in connection with what we did yesterday and 2 days ago about emptiness. What we learned is that there's nothing objectively real; all are subjectively real. This is what we learned. So, having said this, we need to learn the five opposites. Opposites meaning, let's say first we talked about the subjectivity, subjective as opposed to objective. In other words, what we said is that being in the dream, you see the dream as real or dream as dream. In the dream as real. So seeing the dream as real is ignorance or wisdom. Ignorance, and the outcome is the fear that you're being affected by the dream. Good things, your mind is glued to this, attached, and the bad things, you are scared, demons chasing you, lions chasing you, you are scared. So it's all because of the ignorance underscoring these emotions that the dream is seen as real. That is ignorance, and the outcome is the fear. And when do you see the dream as a dream? Inside the dream or outside the dream? Outside the dream, which means how to get out of the dream. Wake up. So you wake up, and then you see the dream as dream. At that point, when you see the dream as dream, then whatever in the dream, they stop to affect you when you wake up. So the whole purpose is for us to wake up from the sleep of ignorance. In other words, what is meant by waking up? To see the dream as dream. In other words, to see the dream as subjective. You agree? Okay. So the waking up meaning to see that things in the dream they're all subjective. Likewise, what we said yesterday was that there are two kinds of dreams. One is the conventional dreams from which we wake up every day. And then there's another dream, unconventional dream, from which we have never woken up until now. So now our job is that in the first dream, temporarily, you are disturbed, you are affected by the dream. That is the conventional dream. And then in about like 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, you wake up. Then the contents of the dream they could not affect you anymore the moment you wake up. But from the unconventional dream, since that we have never woken up from this, we are continuously being affected by this. For example, like the weather affects us, cold weather affects us, and the heat affects us, and the nasty neighbor affects us, and COVID affects us, and if you don't have a place to stay, if you have a huge place, you cannot maintain it. If you're alone, what's the problem? Loneliness. If you're with other people, no privacy, all these affects us. So all these are the part of the dream, part of the unconventional dream. Yet they're very powerful. They're very powerful till you wake up. If you don't wake up from this, they will continually harass us. All these will continually harass us, the problems. The moment you wake up, this cannot affect you anymore. That is the liberation. So the process, and who was that? Yes. What's your name again? Yes. What Vali said was that then even this dharma is also like a dream, right? It's also like convention. So what is answer? Answer is yes. So which means that we are struggling to get away from this dream. Struggling to get away from this dream so that we will be liberated for yourself, for all the beings. So this struggling happens in the dream or outside dream. If outside the dream, why should you have to struggle? You're already liberated. So struggling. So what is dharma? It's the struggling to get away from these miseries. That is dharma. You getting it? So for Buddha, no dharma is required. Because he's already out of the dream. So our job is struggling to get out of the dream. So when you were in the dream, and this conventional dream, what's the difference between the conventional dream and an unconventional dream? Is there anybody who likes to share with us, what do you think is the difference between the conventional dream and the unconventional dream? You know what the unconventional dream, what I mean by that. And conventional dream, you don't know that. You wake up from the conventional dream every day. What's the difference between the two? Anyone? Just share thoughts. There are so many differences. Anyone? Raise hands. Yes. So the conventional dream, you wake up very frequently, every day. But from the unconventional dream, we have never woken up, and we have no experience of that, what it is like. Very good. Anyone else? There are many differences. Anyone? Lisa? Say it again. Conventional dream does not have substance. Okay. And unconventional dream has substance. Has substance or appears to have substance. So conventional dream also appears to have substance. When you're in the dream, it appears to have substance, right? You affect it. So You wake up from the conventional dream of being in Trishita, and you wake up and you end up into the unconventional dream. Again, you are in Trishita. Yes. So unconventional dream happens without sleeping. You think you are sleeping. You think you are not sleeping. Actually, you are sleeping. What? Yes. Okay, so you are not conventionally sleeping. That's good, perfect, very good, very good way. Okay, the girl over there. Oh, that's interesting. From the conventional dream, we wake up, and again you fall into dream. Again you wake up. It happens so frequently, so many times. From the unconventional dream, you wake up once, you will wake up for good. Right? That's a good story. Good news. That now we don't have to go through being affected by the dream anymore, because you have woken up, you have woken up for good. This is so precious. This is what is taught in Acharya Dharmika, this text, where many of the opponents of the Buddha's teachings, they say that liberation, waking up from what you call as liberation, or waking up from the sleep of ignorance, is not possible. And even if it happens, again you will relapse. But the Buddha said, no. Once you wake up from this unconventional dream, it's for good. This is liberation, total liberation for good. Thank you. Okay, yes. So in the dream also, in the conventional dream also, you don't realize this is a dream, right? We have never woken up. Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, over there. Okay, we know with the conventional dream, we know what is outside the conventional dream. With the unconventional dream, we don't know what is outside the unconventional dream, like what the Venerable Petula is saying. That's true. Okay, one. Matrix. Okay. Okay. Let's say that who created the matrix? This is a question, right? Does he really know what is outside the unconventional dream? You getting it? Because this can be very misleading. Because the person who authored that, who conceived of this idea, if his understanding of the waking up from the unconventional dream, if that is missing, it can really take us into a wrong direction. You're getting it? Don't take this very seriously. The movie you want to watch, you watch the movie of Nagarjuna. Don't watch this Matrix. You're getting it? It'll take you to the wrong direction. Matrix can be very misleading. Even he doesn't know. He's also in the unconventional dream. You're getting, he doesn't know what's outside. He just conceptualizes something. You're getting it? If you really want to watch the movie Nagarjuna, Acharya Chandrakirti. Don't watch the Matrix. Okay. Here, Venerable Anila. The question is for, yes. Then unconventional dream? No. So the word Gambapa is saying is that waking up from the unconventional dream, waking up from the conventional dream can still have suffering. Waking up from the unconventional dream is a freedom from suffering, not the conventional dream. You getting it? Same, 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 yeah. What is my question? What is my question? Between? Yes. No. So what is an unconventional dream? Give an example. No, 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 no. So when you see, so when you say unconventional dream, when you see real as emptiness, you're not in the dream, you're out of the dream. You're getting it? So unconventional dream means you are in the dream. You're getting it? So this is where, okay, good. So one difference, very important difference between the two, conventional dream and unconventional dream, is that, just if you agree with me, that with a conventional dream, cause and effect can be chaotic. You getting it? For example, let's say that I bang the table. In the conventional dream, a music can come out. But in the unconventional dream, music cannot come out with this table. Very boring sound will come out. You're getting, don't expect music. So this is where people end up into unnecessary problems. For example, say you see your neighbor's child doing so well. Your child is not doing well. You say, look at the neighbor's child. He's doing so well, she's doing so well. And you are a hopeless person. You are lazy. Not lazy, because maybe he's like in this table. And the neighbor's child may be like a mobile with the music player. You getting it? You don't know the reality of the objects. And then you come simply seeing the physical two things as similar doesn't mean that two things are similar. Because what the person is not determined by the body, it's determined by the mind. Mind can be very different. Somebody, this is a person who is not so learned or not so sharp, intelligent, not so kind. So what kind of imprint the person brought from the past life? And whereas somebody who's extremely like Laman Tsongkhapa, as a young boy, anybody sees this child, sees him as very different. Extremely compassionate, very kind. Look at the Buddha as a little boy. Very compassionate, extremely intelligent, so smart. So what makes him so special is that this is what he brought from the past life. So they say, in the conventional dream, things can be very chaotic. Cause and effect is just denied. It's followed, it can be followed, it may not be followed. But in the unconventional dream, cause and effect is very precisely followed. There's the infallibility of the cause and effect operation. You getting it? This is the difference. So in other words, say that when we say everything is like a dream, doesn't mean that everything is dream. You getting it? So conventional dream is dream. Unconventional dream is not a dream. It is like a dream. Like a dream meaning that like a dream, not a dream. Why it is not a dream but like a dream is because that it has the cause and effect operating so infallibly. And why it is called as like a dream? Because just as a dream is coming from your mind, everything, even the unconventional dream, is also coming from your mind. Therefore, it is described as like a dream. You getting it? This is okay. This is one thing. Then the next thing that we learn is that so the point is that we need to see everything as like a dream. Like a dream meaning everything is subjective. You're getting nothing objectively exists. This is what we need to know. From this we got one, there is a pair of opposites, like say the subjective as opposed to objective. Don't forget it. And also what we learned yesterday was that, 2 days ago, was that subjective connotes conventional. So conventional existence as opposed to ultimate existence. Let's not forget it. So we have to know the pairs, then this will help us to articulate your thoughts. You're getting it? Say the subjective as opposed to objective. conventional as opposed to ultimate. And then let's say the dependent as opposed to independent. Everything exists dependently. Nothing exists independently. So dependent as opposed to independent. And then finally, we see that relative as opposed to absolute. And then finally, let's say the deceptive as opposed to true. Deceptive existence as opposed to true existence. You're getting it? So we need to know these 5, the opposites. One, what is that? Subjective as opposed to objective. Conventional as opposed to ultimate. Then what? Dependent as opposed to independent. Relative as opposed to absolute. Then the deceptive as opposed to true existence. So from this, okay, if you're writing, right? What's the first one? Subjective as opposed to objective. Number 2, conventional as opposed to ultimate. What is number 3? Dependent as opposed to independent. Number 4, relative as opposed to absolute. Number 5, deceptive as opposed to truly existent. Okay, remember these 5 pairs. And from this, say, for the time being, we can say that, so say subjective, conventional, dependent, relative, deceptive, they all mean the same. You can say that. But later on, don't just say that they're synonymous. They are synonymous, but there's a reason why these 5 different terminologies came into existence, right? Things exist as conventionally, as deceptively, as dependently, as subjectively, as relatively, but we have to know why, how things are relatively existent, how things are dependent existent, how things are conventionally existent. All these there's the nuanced meaning there. There's a nuanced meaning with each of these vocabularies. We make sure that you know these meanings distinctly. That's very important. So the more you see the distinct, say the explanation of these words, then your concept of the emptiness that comes to your mind will become crystal clear. Otherwise, it can remain very hazy. You getting it? Okay, good. Then the next point which I like to discuss here is about now that quickly we go into now from what we have learned thus far, the last 2 days plus today, 3 days, what would be your next question? Don't just say, when will the retreat finish? You getting it? Don't just ask any random question. From what we have studied thus far, right? Now, if there's something which now we have come to this point, now from there we have to go to the next point. So since that you have already moved from day 1, day 2, day 3, we did it very systematically. So now, what would be your next question which we have to learn? Okay, Rainbow?
How to realize emptiness in our own direct experience.
Okay, direct, just, right? Okay, they say, don't ask me the question. Okay, so you seem to have some exposure to physics. Teach us how to become a Nobel laureate in physics. Teach me how to become a Nobel laureate in physics. Don't ask this question. You're getting first study physics, right? Nobel laureate will come later. Direct will come later. For time being, what we need to study is that how to realize emptiness. This question. Then once you realize emptiness, then you have to go to the next phase, right? Okay. So for that, by the way, this is a good question. This is a correct question. Not only good, correct question. It is the too correct. Yeah, it's too correct. So what I'm expecting is, okay, now we've learned all these things, conventional, subjective, everything's like a dream. We all learn, how do we know that everything's like a dream? How do we know that everything is like conventional? How do we know that everything is empty of objective existence? How do we know that? This question, this is the core of the question. So all what we learned the last 2 days plus this morning is like the background information. Once you have the background information intact, then you are ready for this point. How do we know that everything is like a dream? Everything is like empty of objective existence. Okay, for that, let us work on what is known as the reason to establish emptiness, the reasoning of the 4 essentials to establish emptiness. This is what we'll be learning. The reason of 4 essentials to establish emptiness. The reason of the 4 essentials to establish emptiness. Okay. And what are the 4 essentials? Number 1, essential of identifying the object of negation. Essential of identifying the object of negation, number 1. Number 2, essential of understanding the emptiness of the objects being intrinsically one with its parts. Let me repeat it. Essential of understanding the emptiness of the objects being intrinsically one with its parts. Let me repeat it. The essential of understanding the emptiness of the objects being intrinsically one with its parts. Essential of understanding the emptiness of the objects being intrinsically one with its parts. Essential of understanding the emptiness of the objects being intrinsically one with its parts. Number 3, essential of understanding the emptiness of the objects being intrinsically different from its parts. Essential of understanding the emptiness of the objects being intrinsically different from its parts. Then finally, essential of understanding the perversion. Essential of understanding the perversion that anything which is empty of being intrinsically one and intrinsically different from its parts entails the emptiness of objective existence of the object. Okay, let me repeat it. Understanding the essential of understanding the perversion, and the essential of understanding the perversion that anything which is empty, essential of understanding the perversion that anything which is empty of being intrinsically one and intrinsically different from its parts entails the emptiness of objective existence of the object. Essential of understanding the perversion that anything which is empty of being intrinsically one and intrinsically different from its parts entails the emptiness of objective existence of the object. No need. This will come later. Everything is in the book. Your brain will not be used. Okay. Emptiness, the essence of understanding the perversion that anything which is empty of being intrinsically one and intrinsically different from its parts entails the emptiness of objective existence of the object. Okay, now what is the first one? Number 4. Okay, number 1. Identifying the object of negation. The first one is essential of identifying the object of negation. Okay. Number 2, essential of understanding the emptiness of the objects. What? Emptiness of the objects being intrinsically one with its parts. Essential essence of understanding the emptiness of the objects being intrinsically one with its parts. Number 3 is essential of understanding the emptiness of the objects being intrinsically different from its parts. One, different, that's it. Number 4, essential of understanding the pervasion, that anything which is empty or being intrinsically one and intrinsically different from its parts entails the emptiness of objective existence of the object. Okay, what is the first one? Okay, essential for identifying the object of negation. So what we are saying is that what we are saying is that things are empty. It doesn't mean nothing exists. We're empty of something. Empty of what? Hey, empty of inherent existence or objective existence or independent existence or true existence or absolute existence. Very good. Okay. So we are saying that empty of something. What is that something? Without knowing what that something is, okay. Okay. You tell me whether what I said is correct or not correct. To establish emptiness. Welcome. Which one? Number 3. Essential for understanding the emptiness of the objects being different from its parts. This is number 3. Welcome. Okay. Now, you tell me whether my statement is correct or not correct. Okay. I have no shapa in my pocket. Is a correct statement or not correct statement? I have no shapa in my pocket. Is a correct statement or wrong statement? Huh? No, this is not my question. Give an answer. I don't ask you whether you want to know shapa or not. I ask whether my statement is correct or not. Just say not correct or not correct, right? I have no shapa in my pocket. Correct, not correct? You refused? You refused one meaning? Okay, you refuse the answer. Why? Very good. In a way, that's very good. Yes. What do you did? Okay, you tell me. If I'm your mother, right? If I say I have no shapa in my pocket, what will you say? Very confident you will say something. What do you say? What is shapa? You getting it? Okay. Without knowing what shapa is, you cannot negate shapa in my pocket. To negate. Empty means negate. There's no objective existence. To say that there's no objective existence, you have to know what is objective existence. To say there's no shapa, you have to know what is shapa. You getting it? To negate the object, you have to understand what the shapa is. To negate the intrinsic existence, you have to identify what the intrinsic existence means. Without knowing this, you cannot negate it. You getting it? Object negation means the object which you are in your mind, which you are going to say that it does not exist. So what is that object? What is that like? If it does exist, what is that like? If you don't know that, you cannot negate it. You're getting it? So therefore, emptiness is not something like, okay, I'm met with emptiness, nothing's there. There's not emptiness. You have not identified the object of negation well. If you don't identify the object of negation well, no matter how many years you go to Himalaya, sit in the mountain, the cave, like this, you will not realize emptiness. So the first point, that identifying the object of negation, this is extremely important. Okay, so tell me, when you speak of the emptiness, what is the object of negation of emptiness? What are we negating? Objective existence? Independent existence, ultimate existence, intrinsic existence, true existence. Okay. Next question. Okay, for the time being, let's confine to objective existence, or let's say, okay, for the time being, objective existence would be better. Say, when you say emptiness, you are negating something, empty of something. What is that something? That is known as the object of negation. So, what's object of negation, emptiness? You say objective existence. Objective existence, objective negation. The next question. What do you understand by objective existence? So without identifying what exactly is objective existence, then you cannot negate it. Although your words are correct, but you cannot negate it. If you cannot negate it, negation of the objective existence will not come. Emptiness of objective existence will not come. If it does not come, you are not meditating emptiness at all. It is self-deception. So, the point is that, what do you understand by objective existence? This question, anyone. What do you understand by objective existence? Over there. Say it again. Something existing from his own side. Anyone else? The same thing can be expressed in different forms, different ways. Anyone? What does it mean by objective existence? What do you understand by objective existence? Anyone? Yes. Say something existing independent of other things, or something existing by not dependence on other things. Very good. Anyone else? Yes. Something which is not changing. Anyone else? Yes. Okay, objective meaning something which should exist in such a way that everybody, whoever looks at it, should see it in the same way. You see what I'm saying? Good. Okay, let's say, Acharya Chandrakirti. I encourage Tomar to watch the movie of Arunnigarjuna and Acharya Chandrakirti, right? In the movie of Acharya Chandrakirti, the Matrix of Acharya Chandrakirti, what he wrote is that if you have a fear of snake, fear of the snake, and you show fear on your face, and then somebody comes, says that, hey, why are you afraid? You don't be afraid. There's no tiger in this house. You're getting it? Is it true or not? Is there a tiger in this house or not? There's no tiger. It's a correct statement, but it does not help to remove your fear. Because your fear has nothing to do with the presence or the absence of the tiger in this hall. So your knowledge that you are sharing does not help to remove your fear. If you don't identify object negation well, then you are the root of the miseries, which is self-grasping ignorance, will not be removed. So therefore, we have to identify object negation so well. So first see what he's afraid of, what she's afraid. You know that so well. If you know that she's afraid of the snake, at best you should be able to say that there's no snake in this house. Then, are you sure? Yes, 100% guaranteed. Then the person will feel relieved. Because what you are negating and what the person is afraid of, these two tally exactly the same. You getting it? So without identifying that, it's like saying that they say that, okay, say it's my first time here in Tushita, let's say. And then I show little the fear, then Oscar comes. Hey, Kishal, what are you afraid of? Don't be afraid of it. There's no tiger in this area, right? Still I'm afraid. Then Michael comes. Oscar, what did you say? He's still in fear. What did you say? I said, there's no tiger. Still he's fear. I don't know, right? Then Michael says, don't worry, Kishal, there's no snake in this house. Still I'm afraid, right? And then who comes? Joel comes. Kishal, what are you afraid of? Right? Then I said, I'm afraid of mosquitoes, right? So therefore, Oscar, what he said, he's trying to remove my fear. But he could not remove the fear. Why? Because he does not know what I'm afraid of. And even our Mikhail is also very kind, right?
He's also trying to give me ease. And he could not remove the fear because, again, he could not identify what I'm afraid of. So then, who comes? Joel comes, right? Joel says, Gishal, tell me, what are you afraid of? I'm afraid of mosquitoes, dengue. What, dengue? Both are correct. Right? Dengue, both are correct. You're getting it? Either, both are correct. Either, both are correct. It's not that either is correct and either is wrong, or either is correct, either is wrong. Both are correct. Either correct. Right? Either, both are correct. Yeah. Okay, dengue, not dengue. Dengue, both are correct. Okay, don't think the one is correct, the other is wrong. Okay, so the point is that I'm afraid of dengue or I'm afraid of dengue. Dengue, I'm afraid of dengue, right? I'm afraid of the mosquitoes. So then Joel comes and says, Keshav, don't worry, there is no mosquito. This is mosquito-free zone. Right? Then your fear dissolves. So therefore, you have to identify exactly what the self-grasping ignorance grasps at. Self-grasping ignorance grasps at objective existence. If you don't identify what objective existence, then you cannot reject objective existence. If you cannot reject it, no matter how much you reject something else, you cannot realize emptiness. Without realizing emptiness, you are continuously going to be enslaved by the self-grasping ignorance. All the afflictions they come one after the other like waves after waves. Okay, so what do you understand the objective existence? This is to be identified. And what Mr. Varma said is objective is something which exists from its own side. Anyone else? Anyone else? What is my objective existence? Sherry Bema. Something which exists independent of the subject. And who else said something? Tomar, you said it? Something existing not depending on something else is what you said. Very good. Okay. The identified object negation is extremely important. Okay. Particularly, let's say that the same things which can invoke, say, emotions of attachment, aversion. Right, once in a while, the fifth Dalai Lama, in his book on Lamrim, what is that? Is that once in a while, for example, like, say, you love flower. Think of the flower and just observe how the mind reacts to the flower. Oh, by the way, in this book, I've added a small write-up, short write-up on emptiness towards the end. Don't look at it now, later on the Staircase to Emptiness, which I wrote, Staircase to Emptiness, and you can read it. It's more like, the very simple, the step to understand emptiness. Say when the emotions, any emotions, for example, you love flower, think of the flower, and just observe your mind, how the mind reacts to the flower. How the mind reacts to the flower. And so there's involuntary pull happening, and there's feeling of lightness coming, involuntary pull happening. And then for example, like, say, during the meals, we have cheesecake, right? How does your mind react to it? You are diabetic. You don't mind eating cheesecake, right? So this is the contradiction. We are diabetic, and the Coca-Cola, right? What is it like? Your mind is pulled. Maybe most of us, maybe cheesecake pulls you more, right? So how does your mind react? Just observe it. Observe it, and then look at the cheesecake, the flower, whatever attracts you, think of that, and how does it appear to you? Even identify object negation is not that easy. Say, you identify it, and still it may not be too clear. But don't wait till, I now got the object negation so well. Don't wait till that point. You're getting it? So the identify the object negation, whatever you can do that, and to try to reject that by the essential number 2, 3, and 4. By the essential understanding, the emptiness of objects being intrinsically one with its parts, emptiness of objects being intrinsically different from its parts, and the understanding of the pervasion. So just go through this, and you get something, you get some idea that what I'm seeing is not the reality. You get some idea. So if you do get some feeling that what I'm seeing is not the reality, don't feel complacent. You're getting it? It's very dangerous. What is complacent? What's the meaning of complacent? Complacency? What's the meaning? Lisa? Comfortable? Without care? Okay, now I got it. Now I'm happy, right? I don't pursue any further. Don't remain complacent. Don't be complacent. If you just start to get a feeling that what I'm seeing is not real, don't think that this is emptiness. It can be a very gross level of emptiness. You're getting it? So if you're very complacent, particularly people of the modern education like you and me, all of us from the modern education, there's a great danger that we can fall into complacency over getting some idea of what emptiness is like. You may think, I got emptiness. And Buddha remained silent for 49 days without giving teaching, saying that this teaching is very complex, very subtle, that nobody around me can understand it. And yet, we think that I understood it. This is ego. You're getting, if you think that I understood it, just with 10-day retreat, Buddha remained 49 days silent. And we 10 days, in 10 days we got it, right? So if this is Buddha, he put 6 years, extremely, incredibly smart, incredibly intelligent, the young prince, getting all the opportunity for learning, and yet he took 6 years. And for us, just 10 days, wow, I got emptiness. Yeah, I got emptiness. Hey, why is it so difficult? People saying 20 years, 30 years, what is this? In 10 days, I got it, right? This is, in a way, you are being very unwise, unkind to yourself. You are putting a dead end to your journey towards Buddhahood. So the mark of whether you have understood emptiness or not is that what is your emotional reaction towards? Are you the same person or you become a more kind person? If you don't become a more kind person, right? If your anger doesn't subside, which means that you're far away from having realized emptiness. So in a way, what I'm saying is that let us all be kind to yourself, be wisely kind to yourself, in ways that even if you think that you got emptiness, keep in mind that Lama Tsongkhapa, after all these many years, extremely world, amazing, renowned, after 700 years, his compositions on emptiness, they are still so vibrant, learned people, brilliant people, they always feel the awe of his works. And still, even for him, Arimanjushri said that you have not realized emptiness yet. You're getting it? So, that the point is that if we say that I've understood emptiness, then you will not explore further. If you don't explore further, you will not get closer to emptiness anymore. That is the dead end. So therefore, the point is that even if you get a little bit of understanding that say that what I'm seeing is not the reality, it does help. It's very, beneficial. In a way, sometimes these feelings can come very strongly that what I'm seeing is not reality. And then you may get a confidence that if I could sustain this experience, my attachment, my anger, they will all dissolve. You can get this confidence. But still that can be, it can be very gross. Even though it's gross, still very precious because you're in a proper track. The worst thing is that when you think that this is emptiness, then you will not go deeper than this. You get stuck. This problem. Okay, so this is what we need to keep in mind. So first, object of identify the object of negation. So for that matter, we need to keep in mind what is known as the they say identify the object negation so precisely meaning that there are two possible extremes. One extreme is known as maximalist redundancy, and the other extreme is known as minimalist inadequacy. So if you fall into these two traps, you cannot identify option negation well. One is maximalist redundancy, and the other one is minimalist inadequacy. Maximalist redundancy and minimalist inadequacy. What is maximalist redundancy means? It means that you identify the option negation more than what is to be identified. More than what is required to be identified, you do that. That is maximalist redundancy. And then you identify less than what is to be identified, you fall into the extreme of minimalist inadequacy. For example, let's say that if you are the chief security guard of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, if you are the chief security guard of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, what is your job? Anyone? What's your job? To protect His Holiness, which means to make sure that the wrong people should not come. Right, terrorists and these people, they should not come. You should be able to stop them. You're getting it? So your job is identify object negation and stop the object negation. Terrorists as object negation, you have to stop them. So for that matter, tell me that if the chief security guard, say you are the chief security guard, and then you get a message saying that, oh, tomorrow, right? Tomorrow for the next 1 month, the one terrorist went to Dharamsala. But Dharamsala is very dangerous to His Holiness. So this information that I'm giving you. So you as the chief security guard, your job is to stop that terrorist or stop that person. So what do? One easy way is to say that no audience, no meeting with His Holiness for the next 1 month, nobody is allowed to meet His Holiness, right? Do you succeed in stopping the wrong person? Yes, you succeed, of course. Nobody is allowed to, and then you make sure that nobody visits His Holiness. So even the terrorists cannot get in. You succeed. But there's a problem with this. What's the problem? No, you made the decision. You have the full authority. You are the chief security guard. Yes, and then the President Obama comes, right? Oh, so last time His Holiness asked me if we can work on the humanity work, right? So I came here. No. Nobody is allowed to meet His Holiness for the next 1 month. You're not allowed. So all these wholesome works will be stopped. You're stopping more than what is required to be stopped. You stop the bad person as well as you stop the good people. You're getting it? You stop both. So this is maximalist redundancy. So stopping which should not be stopped, this is wrong. So this is known as maximalist redundancy. So you stop more than what is required to be stopped. This is the problem. So therefore you have not done your work correctly. So if you say that nothing exists, objective existence also rejected, but the functional things are also rejected. This is wrong. You're getting it? This is wrong. Then the next is minimalist inadequacy, which means that you reject less than what is required to be rejected. Okay, let's say that person, there's a person there, and this terrorist is give a description of like this height. Let's say the 5 points. Let's say what? Some description is given, curly hair, whatever, right? And then a curly hair comes. You stop that person. Oh, no, I got the wrong person, right? Now anybody you could go, right? Terrorist is curly hair. There's so many curly hairs, not only one. You're getting it? You got a hold of one, and then the rest you let in, which means that the terrorists also not only one person. They can be several, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So therefore, this is what you're doing. And then the point is that because you got hold of something, and then you let in the other terrorists. So this is, you fail to stop what is to be stopped. Inadequacy. Minimalist inadequacy. You getting it? Okay. So with this, what you have to reject is you have to reject precisely the rejection of which will give you the understanding of emptiness. You reject it and you understand emptiness. These two things should happen simultaneously. You reject object negation and instantly you have to understand emptiness. Okay. Now, let me give you some examples and you let me know whether I identify object negation well or I fall in the problem of the maximalist redundancy or minimalist inadequacy. You tell me. Let's say that if you ask me what is object negation, I say that the object negation is saying object negation is, let's say that object negation of the emptiness of a flower, that the flower being a pink flower is object negation. Is it correct or not correct? Pink flower is object negation. So there are only three possibilities. Either it is the precise identifier object negation or maximalist redundancy or minimalist inadequacy. Which of the three it falls under? Minimalist inadequacy. How? Sorry? Okay, so for example, say let's say that the objectively existent yellow flower, right? You cannot reject that. If I say that pink flower is object negation, then I cannot reject the objectively existent yellow flower, right? Objectively existent yellow flower, I cannot reject it. Because for me, the object negation of the emptiness of the flower means pink. I only look for the pink and reject the pink, not the other things. So this is, you reject less than, you identify less than what is to be identified as object negation. Okay, next I say that, what is the object negation of the emptiness of the flower? Flower is object negation. What's the problem? Is it correct or is not correct? Not correct. How? If I say the flower is object negation, maximalist redundancy. How? So you reject, when you say there's no flower, then the objective flower is negated plus flower is negated. You negate both. Objective flower is negated is fine, but flower, you cannot be negated. Flower exists. You cannot negate the flower. So it is maximalist redundancy. So you have to identify object negation precisely well. You're getting it? So how do you know that identify object negation is you have identified it so well? Is that you identify this, reject it. The moment you reject it, you should understand emptiness. You're getting it? Okay. Now in this connection, let me say that the flower being independent of the causes and conditions. Flower is dependent on causes and conditions or not? Flower is dependent on causes and conditions. But if you ask me what is the object negation of the emptiness of flower, I say flower being independent of the causes and conditions. It's not independent, but independence to be negated. So flower being independent of the causes and conditions is object negation. What's the problem? Is the problem? No problem. No problem. How many say there's a problem in a sense? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, how many say no problem? That's perfect. What's wrong? In a sense? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, how many say I'm got lost? Okay, those who got lost, there's hope. You're getting it? You still struggle. To say, I got it, right? We're not sure whether you get stuck, Whether you, right, you have reached a dead end, or you got it right, we never know. Okay, let's say that those who said that, no, this is not a correct identifiable object negation of the emptiness of the flower. So what's the problem? Reasons? My question is that if you ask me what is the object negation of the emptiness of the flower, I say that the flower being independent of the causes and conditions. That is object negation. That is to be negated, right? If you negate it, you understand emptiness. Okay, is that correct or not correct? Not correct reasons. Not correct reasons. Okay, is there anybody who can give me an example? Give me a reason why it's not correct? Anyone? Over there, the lady over there? No, this is what I'm saying. So this is to be negated. Am I correct? So therefore, it's correct. It's not wrong. Anyone else who said it's wrong? Raise hands. Okay, the question is, if you ask me what is the object negation of the emptiness of the flower, my response is that the flower being independent of the causes and conditions. This is the object negation of emptiness. When you say emptiness of the flower means you have to negate that. You have to negate that and this emptiness of the flower. The flower is not independent. It's not independent. You have to know this. So independence of the flower from the causes and conditions to be negated. This is wrong. Raise hands. Okay, Venerable Camilla, why wrong? No, what's the problem? If you negate this, what's the problem? So why this not the opposite of what we're perceiving? Why not? Why not? Why not? Anyone? Why not? The lady over there? How? Anyone? 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 Tomer? Tomer. What's the problem? So I said that the flower does not exist independent of the causes and conditions. It's correct. Yes. No, who said it? Oh, I didn't say this. What I said is that emptiness of flower, object negation of the emptiness of flower, which means the flower is empty of what? Empty of being independent of the causes and conditions. So, independent of the causes and conditions, this is the object negation of the emptiness of flower. So what's the problem? Anyone? Shari Pema. Why? Why? How? So by saying that by eating chomen, it's not food because it does not require, it does not remove your hunger. For remove hunger, you have to eat pizza. And both will remove pizza, the hunger. So what's the problem? When we
It's not the direct, as you've already said, it's not enough because it's not the direct opposite. You don't realize the lack of it. Because there are three levels.
How is not direct the opposite?
There are three levels. It's not just
There are three levels of dependent origination. You learned it? Hey, you heard it? Wadi, you didn't hear there's three levels of dependent origination? Anybody you learn somewhere in the past? Huh? Some in the past? Right? When we is talking about the 3 levels of dependent origination. Did you learn about it? Vaguely remember? Vaguely means from your past life. Right? Michael, you learned it? When? Yesterday, right? Yesterday only. What happened? Oh. It's so like you are in your 70s. Your memory is gone, right? Okay, so what Venerable the Petrula is saying that there are 3 levels of dependent origination. Cause and effect is related to the first level, it's not the third level. You're getting it? To understand emptiness, you have to understand the third level of dependent origination. Understanding first level of dependent origination does not suffice understanding the emptiness. You getting it? This is what Venerable Petrula is saying. Thank you. Do you understand? But in other words, let's say that what Venerable Petrula said is very technical, is correct, very good. And what I may as well say is that how many philosophical Buddhist philosophical schools are there? 4. Okay, this I don't think I said it. Vaibhashika, Sautrantika, Chetamatra, and Madhyamaka. You getting it? Okay. By the way, how many you think that what is the original negation of the emptiness of flower? You say that the flower being independent of the causes and conditions is the original negation of the emptiness of flower. Is sense? How many of you think that? Somebody said it before. Okay, right? They say, then in which case, what's the problem? You should be able to identify the problem very precisely. If you identify the problem very precisely, all these questions, then the people give some wrong answers, but don't say this is wrong answer. How it is wrong answer? You think about it, your articulation builds up, your intelligence builds up, the clarity of emptiness builds up. Okay, so for this, I'm going to just share with you. How many of you realize emptiness of flower? Raise hands. How many have realized emptiness of flower? How many have not realized the emptiness of flower? That flower is like a dream, right? It's like a dream. You have not realized, raise hand. Okay, if you have not realized, now I'll make you realize, right? I'll prove that you realize it according to Varma. Right? Okay, I'll prove that you have realized emptiness. How many of you know that the flower depends on causes and conditions? Raise hands. Right, you know that. Which means that you have rejected. If I say that the flower is independent of the causes and conditions, you say that's not true, yes? Yes. So you say that flower is empty of being independent of causes and conditions. You will say this, yes, no? Yes. So emptiness of flower, when you say emptiness of flower, if object negations are identified as the flower being independent of causes and conditions, you know that. You know that the flower is not empty of independent existence, yes? That the flower is empty of being independent of causes and conditions, you know that. Right? But you have not realized the emptiness of the flower. So object negation of the emptiness of the flower should be such. You negate it, simultaneously, you have to realize emptiness. We all negate the flower to be independent of the causes and conditions, but we have not realized the emptiness of the flower yet. You're getting it? So therefore, this is not the correct identification of object negation of the emptiness of the flower. You get it? Varma, you got it? Good? Good. Okay, so now, if this is not the proper identification of object negation of the emptiness of the flower, then, see, what's the problem? Where, say, somebody identified that as saying that this object of negation, where does, of the 3 options, categories, maximalist redundancy, minimalist inadequacy, and the precise identification of negation, which of the 3 the category the person falls under? Minimalist inadequacy? Very good. Because you did not reject enough. It is inadequate. You reject it, still emptiness does not come to you. You're getting it? Still the objective existence is left there. So this is minimalist inadequacy. Okay, we'll stop here. Yes, please.
So the next sentence starts at 3:30.
Tiyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhisvatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhisvatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhisvaha. Three prostrations together.